Alright, so if we connect this cable to this thingy here, it should be more efficiently transferring energy from the Dyson sphere that you're using to power this thing. Of course, that does bring up another question, Trazen.
And what would that be, David?
How the hell do you have a full O-type star in your pocket?
What? You don't have a hyperstar in your collection? They're so rare, I had to get my hands on it.
Believe it or not, I don't own a star. You literally kidnapped me from the 21st century since the birth of the King of Kings.
I watched all of your videos and thought you would be entertaining. Did I say that out loud?
Yes. Yes, you did. Wait, so you knew this was all going to happen?
Believe it or not, no, I actually don't. I changed the timeline in taking you because I thought I was grabbing you right before you died.
I hadn't been doing these videos for very long at that point. I already died? Again?
I'm not a chronomancer. I messed up. Would you like to know how you were originally supposed to die?
I'm actually curious, yeah, since there's a 0% chance of it happening now because you've shot everything in the face.
I didn't shoot you. What you did, but yes, in the original timeline, you actually had some assassin kill you with an anti-material rifle.
I'm sorry, what? I got blasted by a .50 caliber? Why?
Looking over the original timeline history, you conquered the world through sheer charisma, changed the political system of the United States of America into the Holy Empire of the Christ, and someone who chopped their genitals off got angry that they had to make choices or something like that. The change of the time stream causes some issues with my historical workings.
I'm sorry, I became an emperor? What?
Actually, it looks like you did not name yourself emperor. You named some dude from the 2,000 years before you as emperor, and then proceeded to pledge your nation to Vatican while naming yourself as only an imperator? You know what that word means, right?
Yeah, general. Anyway, we've been going on long enough. Let's start on this Warhammer video. Subject this week will be more Age of Sigmar of a subject with a touch of 40k. Look at this symbol. This is the Chaos Star. As you can see, there are 8 different directions. The origin of this comes from Michael Moorcock's Elric of Melnimbone stories from 1961. But when Warhammer Fantasy first came out, there were 5 Chaos Gods: Khorne, Nurgle, Slaanesh, and Tzeentch, with Malal, who became Malice, being the 5th. Now, we know that the Great Horned Rat is one as well, so let's look at these really quick and figure out where on the star they would align and where they fit. Let's start with the main 4. Khorne has to be the opposite of Slaanesh, obviously, so they'll be put in these 2 locations, with Tzeentch and Nurgle being the other 2, with left and right. I'll put Khorne and Nurgle on the right, with Khorne being the upper for no real reason, really. So, with that in mind, we know at least 2 more, depending on the setting. 3 at least if we combine the 2. The warp is really weird, as the same warp affects both the Age of Sigmar and 40k settings, but they're not the same, really? So, those we know are dependent on setting. Let's start with the AOS. The Horned Rat is a new Chaos God that, because of the events of the end times, despite the fact that Nagash is more of a deity, but he's not a chaos deity. Rat has the domains that overlap with many of the other deities. Decay, ruin, pestilence, hunger, ambition, and survival are just some of them. A lot of others, but these ones I bring up because it definitely puts him between Nurgle and, in my opinion, Slaanesh. The desire to live, but also kill, and also survive, but also rot. So, let's put the rat right here between pink and gross. We also have the original 5th Chaos God. This one had legal issues, so we'll use the modern name, not the original, accidental, illegal name, Malus. Malus is the Chaos God of Anarchy, to make the short list shorter. Obviously, he is violence. Khorne is very much in his side, but Malus is also one of the most intelligent and tactical minds ever, even having the power to enter real space in the 40k universe, a realm he is very little power in. So I'm going to put him between Khorne and Tzeentch. But this still leaves 2 directions gone, and I can only place these in the 40k universe because I know it more. One we know the name of, the Dark King, which was originally supposed to be the Emperor of Mankind, but he rejected the power. From what we know of what the Dark King was supposed to be, he was supposed to be a wave of destruction. It was supposed to kill every single enemy it saw before the destructive wave also flooding itself, essentially being a disease of death and blood on a golden throne of skulls. So I put the Dark King between Khorne and Nurgle, being a slow flood that suffocates the galaxy, but we don't actually know what the last one is, actually. Though we do have a theory, a Daemon Prince that wants to grow to become a Chaos God, a creator, an architect, a builder, a forge master. Vashtor the Archifane. He stands between Tzeentch and Slaanesh, building bigger and better, creating more and more, knowing any and all. So the Archifane wants to create more dangerous weapons and test them on things to make them suffer as slowly and painfully as possible. Look at that! It fits perfectly with both Slaanesh and Tzeentch, so that's all directions, right? Well, we're still not done. Well, there is still another force of chaos, and it's undivided. Now, I know the lore behind Be'lakor. He was made by everyone, and everyone kind of regrets doing anything with him, since none of them can really guarantee anything out of him. But I believe that if he gave enough of a shit, he could actually break Moorcock's idea of what the symbol of chaos is. Each arrow is supposed to be a different direction, but the 40k and fantasy chaos stars also have an eye in the middle, which knows and unites the 8 different ways of chaos. Chaos Undivided, in my opinion, is a force of chaos, but it leans more into the death domain than just unbridled chaos. It's hard to explain. Impossible, in fact, because how chaos works is impossible in and of itself. So, there you go. 9 forces of chaos, 9 possible chaos gods, 8 directions, and 1 who unites. Honestly, chaos is weird, but chaos is supposed to be. That's all I really got. I got some more Necromunda models to paint, so shove off.